everyone, welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen back here and we're jumping right into the soap today using this fragrance, Love Spell. This is a dupe. I got this from Be Scented and it smells fantastic. So that's the fragrance that's going in here today, and today I'm going to be doing a coconut milk soap. It just sounded really luscious to me. This is the coconut milk that I like to use. It's guar gum free, so it doesn't have any extra additives that might speed up trace or anything. You can use coconut milk with guar gum if that's all that you have access to, but I really like this one. I got it on Amazon. So that's going to be the coconut milk portion. I'm going to do milk and oil with my coconut milk. And for the colors, let's talk about that. This is from Be Scented. It's called Pretty Purple. And it's so pretty, right? So, all right, that's going to be one of the swirls. And then here is one of my favorite colors, Synergy from Nurture Soap. Let me tell you, it is the most beautiful aqua teal green. I just thought these two together are going to be really pretty. And for the top of this soap, I have over here, let me grab them, some little flower embeds that were from extra soap batter from a previous soap that I made, and I'm going to be putting these down on top. Now these ones with the little swirls I think are perfect, but these little plain white ones, I'm going to use my French Silk Stockings mica from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I'll show you just one here, but I take a clean makeup brush. This is designated just for my soap studio. I never use this in makeup, but anyway, a little soft bristled brush, and I dip it into the mica, tap off the extra, and I'm just going to kind of gild the tips of the blossom here just to give it a little dimension. So I will do that on all the plain ones. Isn't that pretty? It just kind of kicks it up a notch. So I will just gild the little roses here. And then these are all going down on top. I'm planning on doing some piping if everything's behaving. I have my piping bag off to the side. This is a Wilton 32 little star tip. Sorry, the lighting, if you can see. It's just a little star tip. So I'm thinking I'll just do dollops to fill in the space between the flowers is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see when we get there. I might do little rosettes, but I'm probably just going to do little dollops in between. So with all that being said, let me grab all the additives and let's get to making this soap. All right, it's time for the additives, and here is my really thick and creamy coconut milk that I've water discounted from my lye solution, milk in oil. I've had people ask me, because I often do this with goat's milk, if you can use other milks, and the answer is absolutely yes. You can do any milk. You could do oat milk, you know, whatever kind of milk you like. The coconut milk is great, the goat's milk. What other kinds of milk are there? There's so many. I'm drawing a blank, but the answer is yes. You can do any kind of milk you like in the oil. So I am going to get this blended in before I add my dry additives, just to make sure that it's blended really well in here. I don't want any chunkage, you know, nothing like that. So let's get this blended. All right, time for the dry additives, and kind of got my regular lineup here. I got my kaolin clay, 2 tablespoons of kaolin clay, 2 tablespoons of colloidal oats, and because it's a coconut soap today, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of coconut milk powder, just because I've got it, and you know, we're doing coconut, so let's just do it. It's got little chunks in there. There we go. 2 tablespoons of coconut milk powder. Now I'm going to get this all blended up, let those dry ingredients fully absorb in here. The fragrance is already in here. It behaves like a dream, so fragrance is in. Let's get this blended up and we'll come back when it's time to make soap. It's time to make soap, and here is my discounted water lye solution to make room for the coconut milk in there, and it does have cane sugar, tussa silk fibers, and sodium lactate is what's going on in the pot. And man, it smells good in the studio. I know I say that a lot. I tend to like to soap with fragrances that I like anyway, so I'm always saying, oh, this smells good, but I only occasionally have I soaped with fragrances that I seriously don't like. And usually that's by request, like somebody has requested a soap and I'm doing somebody a favor. So typically I soap with fragrances that I like anyway, but it really truly does smell good in here today. Honest to goodness. This Love Spell. And of course it's a dupe. I think it's a Victoria's Secret perfume dupe. It's just very nice and fresh. It's got a little fruity to it. It's beautiful. So I'm just coming up to emulsion here, and then we will split off our colors and blend up as needed to get to a nice trace. For the piping, I am going to do my press and seal and do both colors in the same piping bag, and I'll show you that when we get there. It's a really neat trick, and it makes a beautiful piping outcome. So that's what we'll be doing when we get to there. All right, so now I'm just waiting for my piping to come up to piping consistency, and it's getting thick, but it's not quite there. It's still very sloopy. And here's my side test. I've showed this before, but if you haven't seen it, what I do is I take a little bit on my spatula and put it on the side, and if it sloops down, it's not quite ready. If I do that and it holds up at the top, it'll hold peaks in the piping bag. So I'm going to go do some dishes and just wait till these are ready to go, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to do a 2-color piping bag. All right, we're almost ready to go here. So I'm putting it on the top and it's holding. It's not slooping all the way down. It's a little loose, but I'm going to go ahead and get the piping bag set up. So let me show you how. I like to use this press and seal. I think any plastic wrap would work, but I like to use this. It just works really well. And just pull off the length, make sure it's about as long as your piping bag. And all you do is just line your colors up in the middle, and you can stack them. You can do multicolors. I've done this where I do a mica drizzle, paint a mica drizzle on there, and it'll come out in the bag. So you can get really creative this way. All right, and then next color. And literally just line it up right next to it. Okay, you got your big sloopy mess in here. It could be a little firmer, but that's fine. We can let it sit in the piping bag. And then literally just bring up the corners here and seal it together. And then when you pipe, you're gonna have a really nice multicolor pipe come down. So I have my little coupler on here, and I take that off. And then you just pull the end through and snip it off and put your tip back on, and you're ready to go. And I'm just going to let this sit for a few more minutes till it firms up a bit, but it's all ready to go now. All right, my piping bag is all set up pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and start piping. This fragrance is very slow moving, so that's a plus for Love Spell fragrance. Here is a little hack that I learned. It's a Lazy Susan, and I like to put my molds up on that so that I can turn it around and see it from all different angles while I'm doing my piping. So there's a tip for that. Let's get to piping. And the other tip is, if I pull off too much piping for the top, which I tend to do, I keep silicone molds off to the side for the extra batter so it never goes to waste. So just pipe it in here, bop it down, and I've got some beautiful little heart soaps coming. The next day. It's been about 24 hours, and I'm very excited to get in here and see how those swirls came out. I did not run a hanger through this, and so I'm very anxious to see what that drop swirl looked like. And these are just kind of a party festival love spell. They are very magical looking. They smell really good today. The fragrance is a little more gentle right now, so it may pick up after it gets done curing. Sometimes the fragrance will fade and then bounce back. It's very light, but it's there, and it's really pretty. And again, this was a dream to work with. Very, easy trace and all that, so it's good. Coconut milk. I love coconut milk soaps. So, ooh, I got to show you the bottom of this from my side. All right, there's the top, and it's looking really fun in those colors, but look at the bottom. Isn't that a hoot? That's pretty. So, let's get in here. Time to cut with my lovely Olga, the multi-bar cutter. Loving her. And these are just so pretty. And are they casting a love spell on you? I don't know. They smell great to me. Again, fragrances are just so interesting the way that they behave. Sometimes they color morph, sometimes they accelerate trace. Sometimes they slow down trace. Sometimes the fragrance out of the bottle is completely different than what it is in a soap. So fragrances are just interesting like that. And I am loving this swirl. How fun is that? Oh, these are like little party swirly, happy, right? That was kind of a fun pour. just kind of doing the little circly things. I've seen other soapers do it, and I'm like, well, why not? Let's give it a whirl and see what we get. And can't say I'm disappointed. This is really pretty and happy. So anyway, yeah, fragrances. And I've had this happen multiple times where it smells really strong the first day, then it fades, and then it bounces back. I've had other fragrances that start out strong and fade out, and there's nothing there after the cure time. That's always a bummer. I don't think that this is going to be one of those. I can already feel the fragrance kind of picking up as it's getting air surface. And that's always a bummer when that happens, when you have a fragrance that fades out. I try to read reviews on that and stay clear of soaps that disappear after cure time. That's never fun. All right, next loaf. So what's happening to me when I pour these little embeds, when I have extra soap batter and, have these beautiful little embeds, I have a whole tray full of random embeds, and they're not quite enough to do a whole batch. So I've been really pondering what to do with all my extra embeds. I have some waffles, I have flowers, I have hearts, balls, all kinds of berries. And so my current thought of the day is, what do I do with a bunch of random extra embeds? Should I make like an everything soap and try to just fit as many as I can on top? I was thinking about soap cupcakes, different themes, and then just doing a couple cupcakes in each theme and using them. So this tray has been owning me. I don't know what to do with. They're too cute to throw in my rebatch bucket. I don't want to do that. I want to use them. So anyway, if anyone has any brilliant ideas for what to do, maybe I'll bring the tray over and show you all what I have. It's just such an overwhelming mishmash of pretty little embeds. These, oh, I'm loving it. Let's see. I wonder if this is going to give me a pattern. Let's hold it up and see. Oh, it does kind of. Looks like a little penguin with his arms up there in the middle. Let's try it this way. Oh, that one's not as fun. But you do get kind of patterns. That's fun. So I'm getting ready to stamp the bars and bevel, and I wanted to show you all my embeds. So I have a lot of blackberries. Some of these little balls are half balls. They're so cute. And that's the thing, I have uneven numbers. And here I have waffles. Love them, but not enough to do a whole batch. I got a ton of succulents, so I'll probably use the succulents on a whole soap batch. I think I have enough of these to do a soap. But here's my little leftover roses, and I have this whole bag of little soap balls that I made from different embed trimmings, and they're so cute, and I have no idea. I'm just drawing a blank. If anybody has a great idea, please let me know. I would just love some input. I would love to hear it. And if you give me an idea and I use it, I will give you credit in the description box and tell you in the video. But here are my boneyard embeds that just sit over on my soap curing rack waiting for inspiration. I think the succulents, I'm definitely covered. I got a ton of those. But everything else is like kind of bits and pieces, and I don't have enough to do a whole batch. So I need inspiration. I'm drawing a blank.